Okay, sorry about this again. I just shortened it to my dream, so hopefully you see it. Now, given this, um, given just my the likeness, the thoughts of people who view um non-Japanese people, and of course they see foreigners, and I was very enthralled. So I seen stuff like Lost in Translation with Bill Murray, and I think Scarlett Johansson. Um, I seen like what is it? What Teen Titans in Tokyo when it came out. Um, I've seen what The Rising Sun with Wesley Snipes. I had seen Afro Samurai. Um, and again, just seeing all this stuff, it was very, very, very interesting. Um, and again, like I think for a few years I stopped. I stopped. I just kind of dropped the dream for a moment, and I after seeing that, I was just like, I think recently I was like, I'm gonna get back on it. Something inspired me. I can't remember what exactly, but it could have been my ex at the time because I told her I was interested in it, and she became interested in it. Don't know if she still is. Don't know. Don't know. That's just her thing. Um, and I that fire, that desire has kind of came back. Now I've been listening to this female YouTuber. Her name is Japanese Emma with Misa, and I've been definitely I've been learning a lot from her. Now, ironically, one of my jobs is I speak to a lot of people who are predominantly Mexican. I'm at a place that is predominantly Mexican, or of Latin descent. And I keep I have this internal burden at the time is like I need to learn more Spanish. I need to learn more Spanish. Problem is, and I guess I just have to do more research. Problem is, there's just not a lot of like very thorough, comprehensive Spanish YouTube places. There's a guy who's explaining it. He gives very short messages, and again, that's gonna call for my due diligence. But again, after I searched for some from Japanese Emma with Misa, it's been very comprehensive. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just her or if it's just like a Japanese thing. I don't personally think so, but I think she's just a very excellent teacher. So if you're interested in learning Japanese, there are plenty of places to go to, but I definitely recommend her because she's just if you will learn a lot just watching her, listening to her videos, and learning, just repeating. You'll learn so much, especially native Japanese, not textbook Japanese, which is a big difference. Like you'll learn like the details. That's how I learned. That's how I learned the hiragana and the katakana, and I have a book where I'm learning the kanji. But that's that is a great resource. Like it's definitely a great resource. You or have a class, you're trying to learn, and you're just trying to grow in your knowledge. That is a great thing to go to. Great place to go to. Um, but I digress. My dream still is to go to Japan. Again, that's gonna be up to the people at Black Experience Japan. But again, just reading their testimonies, you get a range of people, different lifestyles, different places, different backgrounds, and they all give. And I even heard from couples in Japan who give very honest and realistic takes regarding the life in Japan and regarding kind of dispelling expectations. Now, again, now coming back to that point where I had high expectations, and this isn't just like from anime, it's just understanding like Japan is a place. Japan is wide, mostly homogenous, and they are very tight knit in who they keep in there. Um, and Japan is very comfortable in themselves. I think they're a very mature nation, mature country, and I mean it just in terms of just them uh, not just comprehensively, but like as a whole. I like to think their country has matured in themselves, where they're very comfortable with just being with themselves. Now, they have those their agreements with other countries and blah 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 blah. But I think they're at a point, like for instance, by comparison to us in America, like they already had their internal battles. You know, like we had civil war and stuff like that. They had their internal struggle, switching up emperors, like the Meiji era, the Tokugawa era. Again, I gotta learn more about that too. But few, I think he's one of the few black or African Japanese samurai. He was once a slave. He got brought in. I think I mentioned this before, and he was under the reign of Nobunaga Oda. It was very inspired. That's a better word, inspired. But yeah, going back to it, I was just a big fan of Japan and Japanese culture, and you know, like I guess because this isn't like a 30-90 minute thing, um, I'm just gonna run a few of them by you. Just run a few of these drawings by you. Now again, oh, whoops. Okay, so this is not original drawing. These are drawings I've seen from um, Google photos because I was trying to get my style to be a little more realistic. Still not there yet. Um, yeah, I just do a little overview, walk around. Okay, so this is an older video, older photo. When I've been drawing, actually redrew it because it's looking kind of funny. So drew that and draw some stuff. I redrew it. Yeah, a little. I've definitely taken a long time of drawing trees, so I'm pretty good at that. Pretty decent at that. Um, at those birds, kind of like recently, like last year. Okay, for me, I'm a Christian, so a lot of this stuff is very Christian inspired. This is a very old photo, but one of the things I've been trying to do is trying to grow my African Afro-centric drawings. Um, so I want to make blacker anime. I've seen people who made it, and they do excellent work. I just don't think I'm in par with that yet. Um, that's one that could have been inspired by Yasuke, but I just want to draw a black samurai type character, and that was kind of a submission. Okay, and this is supposed to be the Apostle Paul that I drew in the anime style, and I used like the shrubbery and stuff from. I just did Google searches, places like that from Israel, I think, and again trying to practice on my flowers, um, trying to draw cars. This is actually part of a comic of mine that was actually published by what is it, Westbow. It's called it is called Lovely Fisherman. No, Lovely Fisherman, which is kind of funny, but I won't mention that at the moment. Um, this one I was trying to work on my perspective drawing. I went to college for art illustration, but I didn't graduate. So but I still took some of those skills that I learned from there, and I just applied it. I've been trying to get better at my perspective drawing. So that's Forte Felix, I believe. Um, so trying to learn from that. This one was a submission from a friend from uh, Legacy Conference, and then she wanted a submission, so I made that. At first, it was Jesus with like curly hair because I was thinking like historically, but she wanted him with dreads, so I just swapped them out. So I added them dreads and slapped it on there. And I do a little Photoshop work, so I tried to do something with that. Still playing around with it. This was a assignment of mine, and I had one, but they said it was too detailed, so I simplified it a lot. I did a lot of heavy simplification. So I did that, and this one was based off a I can't remember, but it was really last minute, and so I just whipped it up, and this was actually based off a project from when I was in Northern. Um, it was like a collage of tree branches and stuff, and this was during the springtime, and it was like cherry blossoms and stuff, and I was like. this will work. And I actually got a B from the project, which I'm pretty happy about. So yeah, so I was inspired. So I used like Revelation, which is like the tree of life, and um, it's about the stream and all that stuff. This isn't mine. I actually got this from a convention. Still great work. I have digital work too, but I use like Photoshop Essentials. That's mine. That's mine. I like this of its colors. This one's not mine, but this is pretty dope. I was like, I'm gonna get this one. This one, ironically, is a picture based off the ending, the not the title art, but it's like the cover art. I guess it's one of the cover arts of the actual comic from Westbow is Lovely Fisherman. It's actually the back, and it's like I whipped it up and I put some stuff on there. But yeah, and there is that one. I call it three because one, two, three. And if you see in the very back, there's a cross. But yeah, I don't want to make it too obvious. I just wanted to make it there, and I want to play around with the colors, so I added like flames and stuff of different colors. Um, so I just had those. And again, this one isn't mine. Not sure whose these are from, but yeah, I got it because they look nice. And this one, I had put a filter on it on the same one, the Like Jesus one. And I'm like, that's dope. So I just thought, because it's like a mural, So I was just like, hey, let me put that on there. And this one isn't. This is another one I kind of want to show you guys. This one actually, but this is kind of based off this drawing I had for pills for drug addiction, you know, and I was like, that's dope. I was very happy with this project, so I still keep it. Um, this one is kind of funny because these are based off like drawings of mine, and it's funny because this one is based off of Lovely Fisherman. Only I played around with it when I was coloring it. This one is actually of a comic I'm currently working on. It's called Fates Over Fate. No, no, no. Fates Over Harmony. And this guy's name is Kaleido. This lady doesn't have a name. This one is based off a comic I was still working on, but I kind of dropped. I'll probably get back on it. It's called Mercy. This guy's name's Lee Fame. And this one was based off one called what is it called? Brand Castle. Yeah, Brand Castle. And so that was it was inspired by air gear, and it was just like they're using these foot type of technology to and there's this castle. It's some one I'm still kind of interested in. Um, but yeah, and there's plenty more where that came from. I just put them all on the wall because I wanted some inspiration, and so I figured doing that will inspire me to draw because this also color wheel. I had got that from Northern too. Um, I'm glad I have it because it helps me understand like it helps me build my colors, understand how colors work. And also that it's like the values and gradients and stuff like that. Values and saturation. Um but yeah. Um they help me to be a better artist. They help me to just be an artist period. And so going back to Japan is just to go there. Um I've been in like I one of the reasons why I've been trying sushi. One of the reasons why I've um I've tried to well, I guess if anything, because of anime, my morality has gotten a lot better. And it's not like it wasn't before, but it was just seeing how the shonen heroes, these shonen characters, which are the young boys, um, that's what shonen means, young boy. Just seeing how whenever they wanted to help their friends, they were very selfless and they were very impulsive, I guess. But they thought they knew in themselves that like if my friend's in trouble and there's somebody who's up to no good and he's harming them, I got to do something to help him out. And so you see that from Goku, you see that from Naruto, you see that from um haven't watched Natsu. There was another one I watched. Is Magi? Something like that. I seen a bit of that, and he was trying to do what was right. Oh, Sinbad, sorry, Sinbad. Um, but yeah, and so I just love that that mindset of just doing what's right. And again, it coincides definitely with Christian values, but I'm pretty sure, since Japan only has like a 1% population of Christians there, even though it's very funny. It's a very funny aspect because it has a other one of the largest uh, religions that dominates is Buddhism, and the second I believe is Shintoism. And it's all kind of funny because it's like they still have a similar fear that we have of God, like this. They have this existential fear of God, and because in one of the it's one of those beliefs, I can't remember which one. It could be Shintoism, definitely could be Shintoism, where everything has a sense of divinity to it, everything, and it's similar to animism, where everything is kami, which is God. Everything is kami, which is kind of funny because if I'm right, I believe the word here is kami too, but I'm pretty sure the intonation is different. But yeah, kami, and so that they have this fear that like, and it's understood that Japanese people are pretty superstitious, so it's like for instance, if you sneeze, they think you're talking about it's like a thing that they're talking about them or something like that. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that they have a sense of fear. Not I don't know if it's existential, but it's a fear that God's watching us, and so you better be on our best behavior. We better take care of people as we need to. You better like it's not that they don't have morality in themselves. It's just since Shintoism is one of the biggest religions, is follow and is followed kind of like Christians do today, like nominal Christians, where it's like I believe because it's something I grew up in, and so they do what they have to do. They do rituals and stuff like that. I don't know who really truly believes it, like seriously, but it's a cultural thing, and so I said it because I find it very interesting how their view of God of kami is very it permeates and it kind of has this fear, this paranoia of certain aspects of certain inappropriate things, which is also funny because despite it having it's very conservative, and people are kind of like upset with the state of America and think conservatism or the fact that it used to be predominantly Christian. I mean, it still is. It's just it used to be very heavy in terms of uh, organizations being Christian. Now it's not so much. It's more godless and secularized. And Japan is interesting because if they're not believing in this view of God, they probably are atheists. They probably don't believe. That's just my general opinion, just regarding what I've seen. Not in Japan itself, but just from the data, from just watching YouTube videos. I don't think there's a heavy influence apart from the rituals of Shintoism or Buddhism. But disregarding all that, and also they actually have a few churches there, and that's another reason why I do want to go. Because given that Japan only has 1% of Christians there, um, and it made me think about the Jesuits there. Like for instance, I believe the movie's called Silence with Scorsese, whatever his name is, Scorsese, something Scorsese. He was talking about how it's it's said to be a graveyard, a to be a spiritual graveyard there, which no one can really like. The chances of someone being a Christian there is very slim. And I saw from another website from Nobita's Find Your Love in Japan. He had a video regarding that, and he was saying how people consider um, Christianity in Japan like we consider, I guess, like a Wiccan, like or like a something like a different religion that people don't really know about, and so they have like the most obscure. view of it. Like they'll view it as a cult before they view it as anything else, and so they view Christianity either indifferently or they view it similar to, as a cult. And so, which is also interesting because of the secret Christians there. I believe during the time of it was it was probably before the Meiji era. It was kind of interesting because it's these like from what I understand during the things of the Silence movie, it happened in Nagasaki, which is what oddly enough, one of the places that was bombed um, by America in World War II, I believe, and also Hiroshima. But I don't know too much about Hiroshima. I just know there were secret Christians there. Now, oddly enough, the secret Christians there are, probably believers, but now it's kind of strange because they worship two Marys and stuff. So it's like the secret Christians there have had this weird belief of the belief of Christianity is kind of odd. It's like it's mutated into something that it wasn't originally was. I'm sorry, it's talking a lot kind of bothers my throat. I don't know why, but going back to it, uh, I still, if I ever get a chance, and that's a matter of when rather than if, because I do want to go, and the idea is just the thing that matters more is just will it, what matters, because I definitely do want to live decently, but it's like everything has a cost, so it's like what are you willing to sacrifice your time, your sleep, what do you want, what is it going to take. Also, I just wanted to point this out. I have a small, also a Naruto headband. I got this from a convention, and I actually got these swords. Funny story. I actually had two swords that was similar to him, and I let this dude borrow them, and he like gave me his business card, but never gave him back. I don't even know if he was in the city, but yeah. So I just ended up getting some new ones. So it's like unless you're purchasing them, don't don't let someone borrow some stranger even borrow your stuff. Um, which is self-explanatory now that I think about it. But yeah, which is kind of funny. It made me think about this. Um, I could definitely take that opportunity if I ever came. Because I checked like their rules and stuff for Black Experience Japan and the free trip. They don't really have, you know what? You'll just have to see it for yourself. I'm not gonna spoil it. But they said that I guess for one, you have to have a blog. You have to, well, not have a blog, but you have to blog your experience. And I'm like, that's easy. That's totally easy. I blog now. I'm blogging now, even now. So I'm like, I don't know how the VPN stuff, like getting your own SIM card for that is gonna work, but it's like doing that would be easy. It'd be balls easy. I'm sorry. I hope that's not derogatory, but it wouldn't be a problem for me because if I was there explaining my my experience the first time, but boy, I get it done like that. I would get it done like that. It wouldn't be hard. Let's just say that for me, it wouldn't be hard unless I had those a network issue where it's like okay, or even trying to read the letters, the kana. If I didn't have that issue, it'd be great. It'd be a great experience. Um, I would again. It's Japan, so it's heavily Japanese there. So it's like got people there. Um, but yeah. Also, one thing I'm getting my passport real soon. I think it was like about 2 weeks ago. So hopefully it comes in real soon. because I'm hoping I'll get it by the time that I don't know. I don't have no idea when the thing's coming in, but hopefully it comes in soon, sooner than later. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not gonna be very upset about it. I mean, I am if I happen to win, but if I don't, then I'm gonna just cut my losses and just say, hey, maybe next time, maybe another time. But definitely shout out to Black Experience Japan for doing such a thing to begin with. That's great to awaken people's dreams of actually going to a place that they've always wanted to go to. I can't even remember the phrase. Make their dreams come true. That's freaking amazing. And give them, I guess I am gonna say it, and give them a week in hotel and a round trip. All you need is a passport. I mean, if you're here in America, from what I can understand, and if you're trying to live there, you need a work visa and all that stuff. But from what I understand, I'm not interested personally as of right now. I'm not interested in staying. I'd definitely be interested in just being a tourist visiting there. Would I like to go there with family? I mean, I guess family, but would I be interested in going there? I'm sorry, my throat just started bothering me. I'd be interested in going to the countryside and just talking to them and hopefully practicing my Japanese. But, and it's not like, from one another thing I heard, some of them will try to practice their English on you, which, and they'll just use you for conversation, not really trying to get to know you or anything like that. I think that's not good. I don't care if you're Japanese or not. That's not right. You can't just barge. You can't do things you wouldn't normally do in your own society. And I get it. They're new. I've done inappropriate things too, like ask a Vietnamese guy if he was Japanese, because that's what I did. And I was over there because I've never met an Asian dude before, and so I was like, "Hey, I'm learning Japanese. Oh, hey, where are you from?" And I'm like, "No, where are you from?" I didn't say that second part, but I kind of alluded to where he was, and I think he said he was Vietnamese, and I was just like, "Oh, not interested in that." But and not to be a dick, but yeah, I wasn't. I don't even know anything about Vietnam. Only one I do know, which is kind of offensive, but I played a war game. I think it was about the Vietnam War. Wasn't Call of Duty, that's for sure. um, but man, um, but either way, it was I like to definitely start this journey off. Um, because if this could start my journey in terms, sorry, my throat is starting to catch the brunt. I would definitely like to take this time of starting my journey of traveling, and if I could start off with Japan, that'd be great. One of the places I do want to try to go is the Philippines. I say that because I'm like I find it very interesting. I had no idea. The guy actually told me there was a Filipino guy. He said something like that they are essentially a mix of black uh, is it Spanish, Spanish or black and Asian, something like that. They're like a curious mix of folk. And I just found that to be just surprising, just because I've met quite a few Filipinos before, and they've been very nice people. Few of them, actually, the ones I've met actually knew, like almost all of them, they knew English. Um, Again, I have no idea about the Philippines, but I would definitely love to go. Um, Definitely love to go because it seems like an interesting place. Um, but at the end of it, this is just right now is my experience, and I would definitely love to go to Japan. Definitely love to get to know people there. I say that because I'm like they're people. Anime, like for instance, and this is something that helped me understand. If anime is the equivalent to our cartoons over here, even though especially now we have adult cartoons, And I don't mean like the adult, like the sexy kind, but I mean adult, like adult themed and for adults. Um, if they are similar, if you can make a one-to-one comparison, because anime is short for animation, um, or Japan animation, something like that, then their interpretation of the people there, the places, the things, they have some sort of difference, some sort of sketch, not sketch, but some sort of they have a sort of creative use, creative license, and so their perceptions. If you think the anime girls are the same as the girls in Japan, you probably are going to be mistaken. They're females just like any other place. They're just culturally different, but they're females with their own desires and goals. And if you're, and I guess people might hate me for this, but if you're a white foreigner, you might get a better chance there. And I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not saying that you can have a very bad behavior foreigner, such as Logan Paul, examples such as Logan Paul, to enter Japan and just act a fool and still be accepted. Like you could be black and have a great attitude, great behaviorisms, and being smart and interact with people. But what my point is that there are stereotypes, and again, when I said Japan is ignorant, I definitely mean that. They have some ignorances regarding people that they've never met, and again, that's just like me, just like anybody else. But because they live in a homogenous society, they don't really have to learn. They don't have to brush up with somebody or learn about their culture or learn something like in America. They don't have to get to know us. They don't have to know a general amount about us. And that's just the human experience. If you're around your own, you don't really have to learn about anybody else. And so they come up with their own assumptions and thought processes regarding people. And so I forget where I was going with that, but hopefully it's one of those things that can be discussed, can be changed, can be even in conversation be corrected. One of the things I do like to do on Periscope is go over there. I mean, check it out because they have videos, and even though I believe it's like a 6 hour difference between both countries here in Japan, you'll still meet some interesting folks. If at 1 o'clock, you might meet so and so from Japan. Actually, ironically, that's how I ran into Renzo in Japan because I was looking at Japanese videos from Japan, and so I saw him like, oh, black dude, familiarism. That's not a black thing. That's a human thing. So why do you think that Japan doesn't isn't necessarily quick to be, as a general whole, aren't interested in learning about other cultures? Because they don't have to. It's an option. It's definitely an option. Now, for me, again, people like things that are familiar. It's a human trait. It's a human characteristic. I saw he was black. I like Japan. He's black in Japan, and I subscribed. You know, again, this does not mean if you're black in Japan and you have a bad attitude, you have bad behaviorisms, you have a bad temperament, you have a bad personality, that's okay just because you're black and in Japan. Diversity isn't great if these are their bad characteristics of that person just because they're black. That's like saying if Logan Paul was black and he was acting the fool in Japan, it would be okay because he's black. I'm like, no, that's not okay. In the same way, Logan Paul is not a good aspect of Americans. Whether he's the guilty of his brand and just kind of acting out, whether it's a personal thing, I don't care. I don't know. Um, you should come to a country with a certain amount of decorum, a certain amount of dignity and respect. And it's not just Japan. This is anywhere you go. It's better to leave knowing you've done the best you could within your own capacity and knowledge, and to say you weren't a piece of trash, but to suggest that by comparison, if you were great and they weren't, at least you tried to be um, in the right. You know, I'd rather you be in the right than they be in the right because you couldn't get your stuff together or be a positive human being there. And so I guess I just say that because I'm like, you can't just expect people to treat you nice at times. Um, at the same time, I think it's a good expectation. You know, I mean, don't expect people to go out their way, but unless they're a nice person. But I think there should be this expectation of kindness. If you're a foreigner, people of natives, like for instance, if a person who's of a foreigner, especially over here in America, and they they're not really good in English, I will try my best to hear what they have to say and try to be polite and try to understand what they're saying and try to make the best of it. And if I know a bit of their language, like if like for instance Spanish, I'll try to communicate the best Spanish I know to talk to them. Um, and that's gonna be based off my temperament. But I guess I was just saying that you know um, both the and I get it. Tourists can be very annoying. I get it. They come near with their own cultures. And again, it's those cultural differences. If you're tourist, you're not staying. So you bring your culture with you and your expectations with you. And you don't care. You're there because you want to absorb whatever the culture and your experiences and your expectations of the culture is. You're there. You probably don't care too much about the natives. Maybe you do. Maybe you just want to talk to them. Maybe you just want to get to know how they do things over there. But there's that cultural difference, and tourists are just there. They're bumbling, they're moving around, they're simply trying to uh, live for the time, you know. And of course, it's good for businesses and stuff, but it's like, what happens about the regular person? And that's also people here. If you have tourists here, and if there's exceedingly a lot, and they're just kind of mushing their way through, they don't care. Their standards are different from yours. It may be by comparison, it seems very rude because they don't know. And at the same time, if they're not here long, they probably won't care that much unless they love your country to begin with. Um, if I want to say anything lastly, is I still want to go. Despite all the craziness, despite the potential experiences, I have to see it for myself. That's the biggest reason. I have to see Japan for myself. I gotta go. I want to just experience it. I want to see what is Japan there. Um, can I talk to people? Can I if it's just like Spanish, it's gonna be hard because they talk with their normal pace and dialect. I probably won't understand what they're saying, but I at least want to try. It'd be nice to have a tour guide or something like that, somebody to assist me while I'm there. But I definitely like to go there, enjoy my time there. Maybe find some drinks, have some drinks, talk to people, make a friend or two. That would be great. But yeah, it's two different worlds. But it's reaching that 40 mark, and I'm probably gonna try to have it at that 40 mark. Um, Japan's a great place, magical probably. um, it has a lot of aspects that I like, a few aspects I don't like. Uh, but ultimately, that's a human experience, and so accepting that and still trying to find the good is what I'm interested in. So if I ever go, despite all the silliness, and by that I mean like especially the plane ride. I don't ride too many planes. I still want to enjoy my time there. I still want to absorb everything that I can, and just say this is my experience. I've been wanting to have it, and I did.